thank you for the invitation to speak in the I4MS, in this I4MS talk. As Begonia said, so I will give a short presentation about the Digital Europe program, and in particular about the European Digital Innovation Hubs. So I will do the presentation, and as Begonia said, I have a colleague here with me, so Anna Puig-Santeles, and Anna will, with me, so together we will try to answer to your questions at the end of my presentations. Okay, so let's start then with the presentation. So first of all, I would like to do a reflection with you, so to try to understand where do we stand now. Why we have decided, or all of us at European level, we conclude that it's very important for the companies to be digitalized, not only the companies, the citizens in general. So if we look for the data from 2019, and you can see here in this graphs, we see a lot of discrepancies if we analyze, for example, the size of the companies. And we can see that only 25% of the companies in 2009 were highly digitized. And if we go for the large companies, so we are now talking about 62%. So that's why we have this main focus on the SMEs and mid-caps, because normally the small companies, they don't have the money enough to invest in new technology, or they don't have the knowledge for that. They don't have the people, and that's why we have this important role, or we gave this. It's important in the Digital Europe program, this special attention that we are giving to the SMEs. If we now see for the sector, we see that the construction companies, only 11% of these companies are highly digitized. And of course, at the sector that is most digitalized, it's the computing companies. But you see here, 70%. So also in the computing companies, we still have a lot of things to do for the digital transformation. Now, if we analyze per country, we see now better in the next, in my next slide. So you see that if we analyze then country, we have a lot of difference. We have Denmark has the country most digitalized, and we have Greece, sorry, on the other hand, that is the country less digitalized. So with the Digital Europe program, we want to try to minimize this big difference, big discrepancies that we have between countries, between regions. That's why we want to work. So we are developing this program together with the member states, because we want to act locally. We want to involve the member states and the regions, because they have the knowledge of the local economy. So now thinking about the most recent period, so this crisis that we are living since the beginning of this year. So this is a very good example how important it is that a company and all of us, the citizens in general, to be digitalized. So you see that the digitalization can bring benefits to all Europe. So it was addressed, and it's very a key important initiative, or that it's addressed in our new EU budget that it will start in 2021 in the next MMF, multi-annual financial framework, that it will start in 2021 and finish in 2027. And the digital transformation is one of the key areas that Europe will want to invest and to develop. So you see that the advanced digital technologies are being used for public health security, and also the AI technologies has been very important and used for improve the health treatments. This is just to give some examples about how important digital is for our lives in general, not only for the companies, to all of us. And especially this was really proved on these last months in this situation that we are living now. If we are not digital, if we live, each one of us individually, if we live in a very remote place and if we don't have internet available, we cannot work now. These last months, it's been proving that it's really, really important, the digital transformation to all of us in all the sectors. With this slide, so I want to give a concrete example about when, so in this case, it was Ferrari that, so you know the business, what is the business of Ferrari, I don't have to explain to you, but during the COVID-19 crisis, Ferrari, they started producing this small piece that you see here in the photograph on the left side. There is small pieces for the hospital ventilators. So you see that they changed completely their business during this period, and they put their service to their company to the service of the economy, to all of us. And why they were able to do that? Because they are a digital company. They have flexible manufacturing facilities, they have advanced design and simulation tools, and they have infrastructure that allow us to work remotely. Otherwise, it would not be possible to change completely what they were, their products, and adapt so quickly to help with this product to the ventilators. So, as I gave already now this first overview, and I explain how digital transformation is so important to all of us. I think it's common sense, and we know that, and we always now talking about that and how important it is for our days. So the European Commission, we have been working in the last years in line, so to try to digitalize the economy, and especially to help the SMEs. And now I will present here some programs that are linked with the digital transformation. So it's for the next MFF, as I said already before, and we have here, so the first three boxes that we have here, the blue boxes, are the programs at the European level, and then the orange ones are programs at the national level, regional funds. So I will start by the Horizon Europe. Horizon Europe, it's a continuation of the H2020 that we have now, and it will finish now at the end of 2020 from the previous MFF program. So the Horizon Europe, as I said, it's a continuation of the I4M of the H2020, and we'll have a continuation of initiatives that started in H2020. For example, the I4MS initiative, it will continue in the Horizon Europe, and we will have in Cluster 4, Destination 1, a section for advanced digital technologies for manufacturing, and we will have a topic for I4MS 2.0 that it will be focused on supporting SMEs in manufacturing sector with their green and digital transformation. In the Horizon Europe, we will have cascade funding, so it is foreseen the initiative, the financial support to third parties, and in this program, we will continue helping the SMEs through this mechanism of the cascade funding. So these SMEs will not be part of the projects, they will not be part of the consortium, but through this mechanism of the cascade funding, they will be helped, they will be able to participate in experiments, test the facilities of the DIHs that will be part of these projects. So it's really the continuation of the H2020. Then we have a completely new program that is the Digital Europe program. It's completely different, and it's the first time that the European Commission is having a program like this one. And the aim of this program is to support the facilities and the personnel of the European Digital Innovation Hubs directly. So we will help, so we will fund the EDIHs to build capacity in Europe to diffuse digital innovations across SMEs and public administration. So we will not fund directly SMEs or mid-caps or the public administration. We will fund the EDIH to allow them to build the capacity, then to transfer this, the knowledge, all the information, all the services to the SMEs and help on the digital transformation of the local economy in the regions. Then we have another program that is the Invest EU. It's a program to help companies to find follow-up investments to further complete their digital transformation. And then we have the regional funds. So we will have the European Regional Development Fund that, so as before, it will be allocated to the member states. And the member states can decide to use the regional funds to invest also on the digital transformation. They can use also the regional funds to fund the European Digital Innovation Hubs, because one of the principles of the Digital Europe program and the European Digital Innovation Hubs, one of the key principles is the co-financing. Means that the European Commission will fund 50% of the total costs of the EDIH, and then the member states, they have to fund the other 50%. And they can use regional funds, they can use private investments, they can use in-kind contributions, national funds. Then it's up to the member states and their strategy that they have defined to decide how they will fund the 50% of the investments that will not be covered by the Digital Europe program. And then we have also the European Agriculture Fund that could be used also to fund a hub, but then has to be the focus of this hub has to be in agriculture. So here I want to present to you the total budget that it was foreseen and approved for the Digital Europe program. So we are talking about 7.5 billion in total. And this, so Monday, last Monday this week, the 14th of December, finally it was reached a political agreement between the European Parliament and the member states on the Digital Europe program. So the Digital Europe program is focused on 5 areas. It's the performance computing with a total budget of 2.2 billion, artificial intelligence, 2.1 billion, cybersecurity and trust, 1.7 billion, and advanced digital skills, 580 million, and then digital transformation and interoperability, 1.1 billion. And it's inside the digital transformation area that we will have the European Digital Innovation Hubs, that I will now focus my presentation. The European Digital Innovation Hubs will provide technological expertise and experimentation facilities to enable the digital transformation of the industry and the public sector. So I will now focus the rest of my presentation on the European Digital Innovation Hub, so inside the digital program. And what, as I said already before, the European Digital Innovation Hubs will be funded through the through the Digital Europe program, and they will receive funds. And then the aim is that they will then provide the technological expertise to the SMEs and to the public sector. We see, so the DIH will they will have to give 4 services: test before invest, support to find investments, innovation ecosystems and networking, and skills and trainings. So test before invest. The EDIHs will allow the SMEs, the companies, to test an application, for example, to test facilities that they need before the SME decides to invest. Because the SME, they don't have normally they don't have the funds needed to invest directly, or they don't have the knowledge to decide upfront which technology it's better for them. And once they have tested the solution that it's a better solution for their situation, then the EDIH will support them, will support these SMEs to find investments. And also the EDIH will create an ecosystem and networking. So the aim of the EDIH is to have a collaboration with the other EDIHs to share and the expertise between the EDIHs and the knowledge, and to also to collaborate with the local DIHs, then to share and to have this networking of good practice, experience, etc. The digital innovation hubs will also organize training courses to train everyone in the other ecosystem, in the other digital innovation hubs, and in the regions and in the other regions. So we see has a typical. Sorry, I have to go back to the we see as a typical participants of the European Digital Innovation Hubs. This is only an indication, and it's up to the member states to decide how they want to build the composition of the consortium for the European Digital Innovation Hubs. But we see as typical participants the RTOs, technical universities collaborating with the industry associations, clusters, Enterprise Europe Network, incubators, innovation agencies, and training institutes. And as I said already before, we want to cover, so whole Europe should benefit from this digital transformation, all area, all sectors, all regions. And for that, we foresee that the EDIH will cover so we will cover geographically all the network, and we are planning to have around 200 EDIHs that will be funded using Digital Europe program funds. Now we should go to the next slide. We see so the EDIH should should be in contact with the local DIHs that will be funded through the Horizon Europe, or were funded in H2020. So the hubs that are already working, that already exist, we see that EDIH will collaborate with them. And also the EDIH will be regionally distributed and will be collaborate with other EDIHs. And we see all this new program as a networking and the transfer of expertise. So you see that we will have a lot of EDIHs working, operational, and then we will have DIHs that will be focused on one area, others in another one, and it's impossible. It's not possible to have only one EDIH that will have the knowledge of all the key technologies. So we see that here that they will be helped by each. So all of them, they will be helped by the other EDIH from the same region, from another country. And to animate all this networking, we have created, or we will have the Digital Transformation Accelerator, the DTA, that it will be a central node that will animate the network. And the main tasks of the DTA will be to network, to create network events between all the EDIHs, to organize some training course to train the hubs, to share the best practice, to create an interactive map of digital capacities across Europe, across the EDIHs, and to collaborate with other DIHs not funded by DEP or by Digital Europe. So each European digital European apps should be focused on one area, one key technology. They should be specialized. And we have asked that at least each country should have one EDIH focus on artificial intelligence. A part of that, so we don't have any more specific request, and the member states, they have to first analyze their reality in the country. So what are the sectors that need to have to be more digitalized? What makes more sense for the strategic of the country? And the definition of the areas for the European Digital Innovation Apps should be in line with the needs of what are the sectors that needs to have more development on digital transformation. And we should see here this table has a matrix. So for example, we just give one example. If the sector that needs to be more digitalized in one region is manufacturing, then the region has to think of what are the application areas that are directly related with this sector. For example, in case of manufacturing, could be Industry 4.0, circular economy. And then they have to think what are the other technologies that are related, are needed, and are important for this sector. For manufacturing, could be simulation, supply chain integration, blockchain. And then you have to think, so what are the key technologies, the areas that must be improved, where the region should invest to be able then to digitalize the sector. So it's a bit the matrix that the region or the member states have to follow to define what are the key areas that they should focus more on. So the EDIH, as I said, so we are defined at European level. And with this slide, we want to highlight the European added value and how important we see the role of the EDIH in Europe. So we see that the EDIH will build capacity to, and they will exchange experience and good practice between all the EDIHs. A more mature DIH should help a less mature, and they should learn from each other and share experience. This is now a very important point. So they will learn, the EDIH will learn from specialists in HPC, cybersecurity, and AI, because they will be in contact with the programs that will be developed and funded through the Horizon Europe, and inside the DEP programs, the other programs inside the Digital Europe. So they will be in contact, they will know what the most recent developments, and they will receive this know-how. And then they will be able to go locally and train and help the needs of the SMEs and show the latest development in Europe, and the SMEs will have access to this information and to these services if it's what they need. So as I said already, so the EDIH will organize this advanced training, and they will train people inside the EDIHs, other EDIHs, that then will be able to go locally and train the SMEs. And the EDIH will use new solutions developed by the HPC, cybersecurity competence centers, and AI, as I said already before. So we see the EDIH, the selection process. So we have defined two phases to select the European Digital Innovation Apps, the ones that will be funded through the Digital Europe program. We have started already, so before summer, so this year, to do working closely with the member states to define what will be the European Digital Innovation Apps that will be able to participate in the open calls, European open calls that we will open next year in 2021. So the first step, it was, so as I said at the beginning, this is a completely different program. And I think it's the first time that we will have these open calls, that we will select the EDIH together with the member states, or we do a first selection and then the member states they will assess this selection. But let's go step by step. So the first thing that we did with the member states, and it's still the work in progress, it's not closed yet. So the member states, they have open national expression of interest or national calls to allow to receive candidatures for the European, for the candidates for the European digital innovation apps. Then only these entities that will be selected by at the national level by the member states will be able to participate in the open call that we will open next year. So the member states will inform us, or they are informing us about this list with the candidates entities that were selected following this an open and competitive process. In next year, we will open first restricted EDIH call, and only these entities that were pre-selected at national level will be able to submit their proposals. Then the European Commission will go through an evaluation process using external experts, a similar evaluation as we do now for Reach 2020. And then we will have a ranked proposal evaluation for the proposals above threshold. And then we will balance geographically, technological, and sectoral coverage. And we will take into account the advice of the member states, what they have defined as the strategy for their country. Then the member states, they have to endorse the ranked proposals. And then we will prepare the final grants. The European Commission will prepare the final grants for the EDIH that were selected. And they will start the working, and we will start doing the payments. So this will happen. We hope that we will be able to open the call February, March. Well, I will speak about the timeline in my next slide, but then this will happen in 2021. At the end of 2021, we are planning to open a second restricted EDIH call, and the purpose of this second call is to allow the EDIHs that were below the threshold in the first call to be able to submit an improved proposal, then to be able to be funded. But taking into account that the member state still has a budget available. Yeah, otherwise we cannot fund more EDIHs. But if there are still budget enough, then the EDIH will have a second opportunity to submit a proposal. Okay, as I said, now I will present our optimistic timeline for the EDIH for next year. So we are, first of all, I want to inform you, I'm sure that you are already aware of that we are organizing an online networking event on the 26th and 27th of January 2021. That is called the Gearing Up Towards European Digital Innovation Hubs. It will be an online conference, of course. And we are organizing with Luxembourg. In our old lives, it would be in Luxembourg, this event. But this time we were forced to organize the conference online. And the purpose of this event is to promote the networking between EDIHs, and for that we have asked all the member states to send to us the pre-designated candidates for the EDIHs, so what I explained already before, and we will invite all the EDIHs that are included in the list that we received from the member states. So in December this year, still, or January 2021, we were expecting that the digital regulation will be adopted. Now, as it was already, well, I cannot use the word already here, but as we know that it was finally approved, the Digital Europe program by the Parliament and the member states. So we believe that in January we will have the digital regulation adopted. And then the work program for the European Digital Innovation Hubs will be adopted in February, and we are planning to launch the expression of interest for the first call in February 2021 and give the deadline, so May 2021. Means that we will have the first grant agreement signed only on the last quarter of 2021, you know, because it takes a lot of time to do the evaluation of all the proposals, and then to prepare the grant agreements and sign the contracts with all the EDIHs. And we are planning to launch the second call in December 2021. So I finish here my presentation. I just want to leave you here with some important links if you want to find more information about everything that I said very quickly. So you will find more information about the Digital Innovation Hubs, then about the Digital Innovation Hubs inside the Digital Europe program. And then if you want to find more information about the Digital Information Hubs as a policy instrument to boost the digitalization of the SMEs in particular. So I finish here my presentation. I don't know if we have a lot of questions through the chat because I didn't see it during my presentation. Begoña, I will stop sharing my screen.
Hello,
now.
Thank you. No worries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was really very clear information what you gave, and this is not very easy because it is new information and being also in process. I mean, many things are happening at the moment. So thank you so much. I think it was very useful and very clear, at least for me, and I hope for the number of participants that we have, that I see is 74 at the moment, which is very, very, very big for the time of the year that we are. It's a very busy week. So we invited people to ask questions on the chat, but I don't see many questions at the moment. So I don't know if any of you have any questions to raise.
Yes, I think the main, I don't know if can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I think the people who were probably making an application for EIDH are not here, many of them, if I understood, because I am aware of several preparation across Europe and Finland, and I don't see any of them here. So that could be the reason for no question. But if this is available in recording and your slides, I would really like to share it with some people, some of my colleagues and other people.
Thank you, Ali.
Yeah, let me just tell you that if you have further questions, you can send them to I4MS organizers and they will come back to us, or I will write you down now an email where you can also submit us your questions in the chat.
Thank you. In between, I think people is
Begoña, there's a question in the chat from Marianne Koch from Manufacturing. Can you explain the role of the EDIHs in future innovation actions? We have now a DIH integrated, but what is the role of the EDIH?
Okay. As Helena explained today, you already know the Horizon 2020 and the DIH network that we have, that has become, no? You already know the catalog, and there is an ongoing network very active of hubs. With the EDI network will be a parallel network with the new European Digital Innovation Hubs, and we want to create a link between the DIHs, the already network existing with the currently ongoing DIHs, and the newcomers EDIs. The EDIs, you have to remember that the objective of the EDIs, the aim, is not exactly the same as the one that we know from the DIHs. The DIHs, they come from Horizon 2020. We expect to continue with the I4MS initiative in the Horizon Europe in Horizon Europe funding, as Helena also told you in one of her slides. But Eddie, this comes from the co-funding that you just heard. I mean, this comes from the member states, the ones that are going to co-fund, and they are going to select this network that will become European. I hope I responded to your question, but the idea is that we don't want to lose what we already have. We want to make a link. We want to use this EDI network to become stronger in Europe, to become more digitized, but we don't want to lose sight in the already existing DIH network.
Thank you, Anna. We have another question here. Can the associate countries be eligible to apply?
Well, for the moment, only the 27 member states are able to apply to, well, for the moment, only the 27 member states are able to suggest their candidates to us for this first open call. That's what we have till now. I guess there will be negotiations and we will see how these evolve. But for the moment, we are only receiving the candidates from the 27 member states.
Begoña, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Helena wants to say something.
No, I just wanted to say to Begoña that she was muted.
Thank you. Yes, too many things. I mean, so when will the call for EDIH open to candidate the national selected EDIH to the European call? This is another question on the chat.
In principle, it will open in February, but we don't have a final date yet because everything is linked. We need to have the regulation. First of all, we need to have the MFF really approved because it was approved between the Parliament and the member states, but now they have to finalize all the final agreements. It will take some days more, I guess. And then the regulation has to be also implemented, and then only after that we need to have everything. So we cannot open a call if you don't have a regulation for that. So we hope that we'll have the regulation, but it's written in my slide with the timeline. We hope to have to be able to open the call in February, and then we need to have the call open during 3 months. That's why then it will open in February and close in May, in principle. I saw another question asking me that I presented the optimistic scenario and if we have a pessimistic. We had a pessimistic scenario. I didn't present because we had the news this week that finally they reached the political agreement. So I hope that we don't have to go for the pessimistic scenario. But the pessimistic scenario was to delay everything by 1-2 months, meaning that maybe at the end the EDIH would not be able to start working on the last quarter of 2021 and maybe only at the beginning of 2022. But we want to avoid that. So we will be able to open the call as soon as we have the regulation. But that's why we have decided to start working with the member states even before having the final regulation, because everything was already decided from our side. And even if we were not expecting big changes, but even in case of changes, it would not be in the process that we have defined to select the EDIHs. And yeah, but we want to react and as quick as possible. And our main objective is to be able to start with the EDIHs as soon as possible and start with the payments.
Mm-hmm. I think we still have, thank you, Helena, another question on the services for the EDIHs too. What level of detail will be required in the EU proposal, and especially regarding the pricing also of the services? They also thank you for the presentation, which is very useful.
Well, I can start and then Helena can give more feedback.
Okay.
we really need a price list in the proposal. I mean, we really need to know where are you going to invest the fundings that come from the European Commission. So we really need a price list, yes, as much detail as you can. I mean, yeah, we need a price with services and price, yes, effort, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add that well, as Begonia said at the beginning, this is work, or we are announcing and developing at the same time. And of course, that for the call, you will have a template, a document where so you will have a template to help you to submit your proposal and everything. So all the chapters, everything will be there. All the things that you have to include in the proposal will be in this template. But it's still in progress. We don't have the final version yet.
And apart from this template that you will receive, it's very important that you attend, if you are a candidate or a potential EDI, it's very important that you attend the event in January, because these 2 full days will be completely focused on what are going to be the EDIs, how to apply to become an EDI, what's going with depth related to EDIs, what's the place of DIAGs within the EDIs, the catalogs, the skills, I mean, everything you can imagine that could be useful for you. I think it's going to be in this 2 days workshop in January.
Thank you. I think we still have time for another question, and then okay. Is there a timeline for member states to submit the list of candidates?
Well, actually, the deadline was last week, I would say, but I must say that no, really.
But for the first draft of the pre-selected EDIH, and then depends on the country. There are countries that are more advanced than others, and so it was not really the final deadline for the member states to submit the list, because we want to have, or we need to have the information now, because we want to invite these candidates to participate in the event in January. As Anna explained, that it's really important for them to be present, to learn how to write a good proposal and everything, that how the EDIH will work, etc. And yeah, but the first deadline that we have defined for the draft list, it was last Friday. Yeah, Anna, sorry, I don't know, I interrupt you when you were speaking. I don't know if you want to add.
It's just this, I would recommend you to go to your member state and ask about the status, because every member state has their own path.